I don't think that there is a better example for life and navigating life than the game of baseball. Baseball is the only game that they don't keep track of your wins. They keep track of your losses. Every stat in the game of baseball is negative.
No,
okay?
that's right. That's true now that I think about
They
it.
don't keep track of
how many balls have you dropped? How many? Yeah. Huh.
So it's all negative. And if you are the best in the world, you are going to fail 7 out of 10 times.
Wow.
The best in the world, hitting 300, that's the benchmark. The best in the world fail 7 out of 10 times. It is a game of failure. You don't win baseball games. You lose baseball games based on errors.
Which is absolutely true. That is kind of a life lesson.
There is so much about, and I'm sure this is going to be the theme of this podcast, is how these baseball lessons shape my worldview.
Yeah.
Okay. And to give you some examples, take an at-bat. Okay. On an average baseball game, you're going to get 4 at-bats. All right. If you go up there on your first at-bat and you strike out and you carry that to the next at-bat, you're going to strike out again. And you're going to strike out again. And you're going to strike out again. And that's called quicksand. And that's what happens. The thing that you have to master in your mind in baseball is I'm going to have one at bat, and regardless of what happens there, I'm going to have to get up and do it again here in a couple of innings. And if you go up there without a clean slate, fresh set of eyes, mentally, physically ready to go, you're not going to have success.
So how do you do that? How do you keep that slate clean? Because I'm a tremendous scorekeeper. I'm like, oh damn, this guy throws 138 miles an hour. Like I can talk myself into or out of success as easily as anything. How do you do that?
Much like life, the game of baseball is a day in and day out thing. There's 162 games in a season. There's 4 at-bats for each one of those games. You can't hold on to any one of those things for any length of time, good or bad.
How do you shake it? How do you get out of the quicksand?
You have to have you have to recognize mentally what I just said. There's another at-bat coming, and I have to get ready for that one. So it's really more about shortening your memory.
Yeah.
Right. You can't have any emotional ties to your last at-bat. Your last at-bat is done. It's history. It's in the books. It's recorded. It's done.
But that would also be true then on your great hits. Like if you
100%.
swing and you clean it up, you've got to put that out of your head too, because that can also get in your way.
Absolutely.
This is easy. I got this.
Again, much like life, what you're trying to do, if this is absolute neutral, okay, where football is like this, up and down, up and down. We score a touchdown. Everything's great. You come back down, they score, it moves like that. If you do that in baseball, you're going to have problems. If this is the baseline, we want to be here, just above neutral and as consistent as can be. Then that's the mentality. That's what goes into it. And again, you take this into life. If you really want to break down if we said an at-bat is a single game, a single interview, a single sales call, a single whatever,
attempt of anything, yeah.
How many of those are you going to have in the course of a day? If you carry the first one that happens in the morning, that could go negative. Right? But if I'm going to have another one here in another hour. If you're doing sales calls, right?
You're
going
to call.
No, boom, it's over. I struck out.
Yeah.
So what?
Next call.
Let it go.
The next call. Let's go. And it really is more, it's a training your mind to 1, 2, 3, go to the next one.
Did you have any rituals that would help you with the reset?
Yes. So what I found, there's like the path. So I want to back up for 2 seconds.
No.
Hold on.
I got to know the answer to that question. Okay. I need a good ritual.
Yes, a reset button. So my reset button that I would use was the right field foul pole. And you do it every single pitch. Okay? So even when I was catching, that was and it's a deep breath, reset, next play. Reset, next play.
You'd look at the pole and clear the slate?
Clear the mechanism.
Clear the mechanism.
Which I did steal from For the Love of the Game.
Yeah.
But that's the words that he used. And one of the biggest lessons that I have found, all of the stuff that you learn from a mental standpoint, okay, if you can't use it and deploy it under stress, it actually doesn't mean anything. So you got to take these big concepts, a reset button, okay? A reset button is actually, in concept, it's very complicated with the thought process, what that means, okay? How am I going to get back to neutral? What does it feel like? All of this stuff.
How do I know that I'm out?
How do I know?
A lot of people don't even know they're out.
So you have to reset that no matter what on the next play. And what I have found is you take these big, massive concepts and you have to whittle them down to 3 words. This particular one, the reset trigger, is remember the mechanism. That is the 3-letter word that triggers reset, breathe, get your mind right, clear everything, no emotion, get back up there and do it again.
I have a reset for sales. So I'm in sales. I'm on the phone. I usually average about 23 no's a day, 23 bad conversations to get my 2 or 3 good conversations. My clearing the mechanism is I will take off my headphones. I will pause whatever's happening on the computer, and I do a quick walk. And I'll pick up the pine cones or the acorns, or I'll do something in the yard, just like a quick around the yard, and I come back in and I'm a new person ready to go. So I used to do that when I worked in the office. I was up on the 3rd floor. I'd run all the way down to the bottom. I'd cross over to the building. I'd run all the way to the top, come back around, and I'd do this route on the stairs and get back and just like clear the mechanism, change my body. And that was really a huge
Get
thing.
out of the quicksand.
The hard part that I've found with that, okay, and then the part that baseball exposes, okay, life and baseball happens in one moment. A baseball game is 3 hours long. How much of that time is actually spent hitting a baseball? Fractions of seconds.
Yeah. You get 4 attempts that are short.
Correct. Same thing happens in life. Okay? Everything that happens are these quick little moments. We were just talking to Master Garvey, okay? And in fighting, the difference between an elite fighter, a world champion fighter, and a guy that's on the bottom of the roster is that split second that happens before the actual interaction happens. Okay? So, reset button, if we're going to teach a reset button, it has to be able to be deployed under stress in a split microsecond. My reset button was a single breath in 3 words. And you have to whittle it down to that so that when you got 20,000 screaming fans, it's the bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, 2 guys on, I have to perform right now. If I had to take a walk around, you're not going to do that. There's no time for that.
Yeah.
So it has to be deployed in a split-second moment.
Interesting.
Rob, why would somebody want to watch this podcast?
Why wouldn't you? We have a good time. You're going to learn something. And by the way, it's awesome. You should click it. You should watch it. Thanks for tuning in.
Subscribe right now.